Okay, so we can continue yesterday's work. So yesterday we make the functions for the login, register, and the part of the profile. Let me first need to compile my project so we can continue. Get back here. ng serve. Okay, compiled successfully. So yesterday we made the functions to allow us to log in, to checking our if if our password and username matches any record we have in the array, and we also be able to create new users to the array, right? So just log in with Alice, and it will show the data of Alice here, right? Showing the real email, username, email, first name, and last name here. And if we log out, register a new account, test, and we'll be able to register a new account, right? And we also showed how you can do an ng-if here. Like if you log in with a wrong username and password, it will tell you a invalid username and password here, right? And also the register can help us to checking if the username already taken. If I try to register another account with a username equal to Alice, it will tell me it's already taken. Like a username is already taken, please try another one, things like that. So in the login component, we create a function login, right? So we're checking if we can find a user with this given username and password. If so, we will give you an error. If not, we will navigate you to the profile. And in the register.ts, we have a register function. We're firstly checking if if your password and the verified password are match. If not, we're giving an error. Else, we will trying to find a user with the input username. If we can find one, that means the username is already taken. So we'll alert the user like you have to choose another username. And if the password is matched and the username is not taken, we will allow the user to register that account. Then we will create a new user. Create this new user to our array of user array, and then we will navigate user to the profile. So that's what we did yesterday. And also in the profile, the component, we made our own ng non-init. This is a function where this function will be loaded automatically after the page is loaded. So after the page is loaded, we are trying to get the parameters in the URL, which is a UID there, right? User ID. And after we get the user ID, we will use that to find the user, right? We use a function find the user by ID to find that user. And next we can use that user to update the username, the email, the first name and last name in our profile page. To display that to user. So yesterday we do a variable equals to variable profile equals to this, because if we use a subscribe here. Subscribe is kind of like a waiting for any changes in the URL. If we change the URL, the subscribe will catch the change and looking for the param inside it, and then do the following function. The reason we have variable profile equal to this is because if we directly using this here, and it cannot know this means the class. Well, thinking this is is a outside function. When you're trying to nest the one function into another one, you're still using this. This will be means the outside function, right? But we actually want to using the class, this profile class itself. So we create a variable here. There's another way to to make it easier. Instead of create a variable, we can actually still using this here, and change profile into this, and then like at the end of the function, we can use a bind here to saying I want to bind this function into the I want to like bind this function, bind this into the class. So you just at the end of it, you can just say dot bind this. I think it should be put here. Let me see. I think it should put here. Let me try that. Saved. Let's see if that's refreshed. Compile successfully, and if I trying to log in again with Bob, it's still working. Still giving me the correct data for the Bob. Okay, so you just instead of using like a create a new variable, you can just use bind to bind this with the class. Just adding a bind this after the function, and this will also allows you to use the class variables in the inside function, in the nested function here. And that's not the only way. That you actually have another way to do it. So if we just comment this out, you can actually use the arrow function. I remember I already shared a link on our stack saying you can use arrow function to replace the normal functions. The advantages of using arrow function is like it won't replace your this value. This will still refers to the class. So the syntax will be really similar, like this dot activity route the param. Right, so it's auto function, and we'll subscribe here, and in here like we usually put another function, right? And we can use the arrow function to replace the normal function here. So it will be params, which is a parameter, and have an arrow. That means this function takes a parameter called parameters, and we'll do the following things. Have a bracket here, and this will do this. The UID is equal to params UID. Gives the UID part in the params, and I can just basically just copy those things here. Like everything should be the same. So this is kind of like a called arrow function. It's just to replace usually we have a function here, right? And it takes a parameter, and it do the following things inside here. And right now we just remove this function, and just have an arrow here. This is arrow function, and this is optional. You can remove the parentheses around the params, and this can still using this refers to the whole class instead of refers to the outer function, and this still will be refers to the whole class. And you can still using this UID, this the user, this the username, email, and first name, last name. Okay. So if we just take a look again, see the data of Bob is still here. Like if we change the URL into matches another user here, like I think I have a ID of 345. It's Charlie. Just see this, get the ID for the Charlie, email for the Charlie, and first name, last name. And I still have another one. It's 456, right? In our user array. That's my information here. So, but if we're like giving a random one, like a 789, I think I don't have that one, so it's gonna be empty. Okay, log out. And I'm not even able to log out, because this doesn't match anything. This is like a fake URL. I have 123. 123 is for Alice. Yeah, Alice user ID is 123, so I can successfully log out. And the login with Bob. Yeah. So next function we are trying to do is update. Like when I click this button, it should be allows me to update the current username, current email, first name and last name into a new data. Right? We already have the update function in our client service. Right? Already have an updated user here, and we are going to use that function in our component to allow us to update our user data in this array. So in order to update the data, there's a few things we need to change. So the first name, last name, and email, those kind of things like flexible user can change it to anything. But we do need to check something for the username. We need to check if the new username user put there, if like Bob trying to change his username into Alice, we shouldn't allow him to do that because Alice is already taken. We need to check if his new username is already taken. If so, we'll allow him saying, this username is already taken, please try another one, right? The username cannot be duplicated. This will be this is not a good way to make your username. Like if two users have exactly same username and password, it will be so confusing for the computer. So here is our profile component TS, and this is update. We already get the username, email, first name, and last name by getting the form's value, the username, email, first name, last name. Those values should exactly matches what we need. Like after users change this one, this form should exactly get them. We can actually test it. Here I can have a console.log this username. See if I'm successfully getting the username. Save this. And if I open the console here, and if I don't change the username, click OK. I'm not getting anything. Did I put the update function into the form? Take a look. ng submit update, and here I have a type submit. Form is equal to profile form. This is a profile form. This should match. Let me take a look. So every time when I try to submit anything, it's supposed to call the update function. And every time when I click this button, it should submit the profile form. Let me see this. Where is my form? Profile component. Form. Form equals to profile. I think it should be ID equals to that. I think. Yeah, it should be ID equals to profile form. Let me try that. Submit again. Okay, this time it works. Okay, if I change this to, right now it's giving me like a Bob. If I change this to hello, it's giving me a hello. Yeah. Yeah. So in order to remember, like this button is outside of the form. In order to tell the JavaScript, like tell the browser which form I'm trying to submit when I click this button. So in here I should have a form is equal to the form name, a form's ID, And in this form here, I will give an ID. ID is equal to profile form, and here I say form is equal to profile form. Every time I submit, trying to click this button, that means I'm trying to submit the corresponding form with the ID I mentioned here. The profile form matches this profile form. Okay, and so we can start working on this function. So in this function, we need to check a few things, like we need to check. We need to check if the username is already taken, and we need to check. I think that's the only thing we need to check. Check if the new username was taken. Check if the username was taken, and otherwise we should be fine. So if in order to check if the new username is taken, we need to find if the new username is already exists here. Constant. Okay, we create a new user here. The new user is this user service find user by username. So if we can find the user with this name, right? If we can find the user with this username, that means this user is already exists. So if this a user is not equals to undefined, right? And we said if you're trying to check something is not undefined, not equal to undefined, you can just directly say this user. Like if something just means if this thing is not undefined. And we can say if this is not undefined. If this is if we can't find this, if this is not undefined, that means we can't find this user with this username. So if we successfully found this user, that means this username is already taken. We cannot allow the user to do that. So it's kind of like we'll alert a user. This user name is taken. Please try another one. Right, like that. And else means the username is fine. You can use that. Like firstly, let's try a lot. I will check. Not try a lot. I'll try console log. I will change this into like a real update. Update successfully. I think like that. So let's try if that works. Right. So if we change the username, right now it's Bob. If I change that to Bob1 and click this button, tell me update successfully. It's fine to use Bob1. If I change this to Alice, trying to update it, allow me, the username is already taken.
Didn't we make a function like this yesterday?
Yeah, we did a similar one for the register, right?
Yeah.
When we're trying to register, like we also want to check if the username you put there is already taken.
Couldn't you make that a function and just call that function here?
We cannot, because remember that function is in another component, and they have a few different things. Like in the register, like after we check if the username is not taken, we'll create a new user there. But in the update here, if the username doesn't like conflict with other users, we're trying to update the current user's information. Right? It's different. Like when we create a new user, we will create a unique ID for him. Like, but when we update a new user, we're not going to change the ID. We just change the information within that item. So it's a little bit different. And also there's a different point. Like right now I'm logging as Alice. If I change this to Alice1, it's fine. But when I'm trying to change it back to Alice, it will tell me this username is already taken, right? Because like if one user tries logging as Alice, and they change the email address, change the first name, change the last name, and when he's trying to click OK, this will tell him like the username is already taken. Why? Because like the way we're checking if the username is taken is like we're trying to see if we can find a user with this username. Of course we can find anything already, right? Because the user doesn't want to change it. and that means it doesn't allow you to change it because we're telling him like your username is already taken there. Then here in this function, we're trying to looking for this user with this username. If the user doesn't want to change it, like of course like there is Alice, and if the user doesn't want to change the Alice to other things, like this user will be successfully found and we'll alert him with this. This is not what we want. We want to see if the user changed the username into another thing, into a new thing, and see if that one is already taken. We are not going to prevent the user from keep the same username. So we need to add some new things here. We want to see if this username match the old username like the user puts there. Maybe the user never touched the username before, so we don't have to check anything here. So we want to check. So here I want to say check if the new username was taken, or the username was not touched, was not changed. So how do we check if the username is not changed? Well, we need to compare the new username with the old username. If the user doesn't change it, we don't have to to block the user. So on the engine init here, this is the first time like when the user loading this page, we have we record the username here, right? Actually, we can know. How about I just create another field called like an original username, see like that, or just old username. Okay, it can be a string, and when I load this page, I will record this old username is also equals to this the username. Username. So the username and the old username, they are the same thing, right? This is but when I update this user, the only thing I updated is this the username. This the old username is still equals to the original username. We want to check if this username is not equals to the old username. That means the user changed it. If they are equal, that means the user didn't even change it. I don't have to care about if the username. We don't have to check the username, right? So here I can see if we can find that user and this the old username is not equals to this the username. That means the user changed the username, and we can still find that user. That means the user changes the username, but username is still taken. That's not allowed. Like we cannot allow the user to do that, because that means he's trying to change it to another user's username. So we can try it right now. Like if here we still have Alice. If I'm trying to change the email, change the first name, change last name, click OK here, and saying update successfully, right? Previously, like we will not change the username, it will block us, saying it's already taken. But right now, like if I just want to update the email first name, since we don't touch the username, like it's still equal to Alice. When I try to update it, it will update successfully, and I can also update it to Alice, so like 1123, update successfully. But when I try to update it into Bob, remember we already have a Bob in our array. If I click OK here, it will tell me the username is already taken. But if I change this back to Alice, it will work, right? Remember the old username, it never changed. It's always equals to the original username when we load this page. When we load this page, it is equal to Alice, and then it will always equal to Alice. We never change it, right? So here we can finish this whole functions here. This is a case when the username is already taken. And remember how we make it. Instead of using alert, we can use an ngIf on our HTML page, make it looks better, right? So we can create a variable for that, create a boolean for that. So here I have a username taken, as it's a boolean, and we can have another one called submit success. It's another boolean. So I create two things here, two messages on our screen. Like when the submit is successfully, I will show the submit successfully message. When the username is taken, I'll show the username taken message. Because like when previously when we do the login and the register, when we successfully log in and successfully register, we'll navigate the user to another page. But in the profile, when the user updates their information, we don't have to go into any other pages. We'll stay the current pages, right? So we will need a message to let the user know you successfully updated something. Otherwise, the user won't know, like maybe it's just no stuck here. So let's put those two messages here. So in our profile, the HTML, let's create two div here. Inside the container, I think. Yep. Let's before the form, I can have a div. Actually, two div. One is for the username taking, or another one is for the submit successfully. In this div, I can have a class is equals to alert and alert danger, right? Make it a read and saying user name, like a username is taken. Please try another one. And this one will have an ng if, right? Ng if we're using the username taken boolean here. When this boolean equals true, then we'll show this. And here we'll have another ng if. When the submit success is equal to true, we'll show this. So class is equal to alert, and I don't want to make it into a danger color. Maybe I want to use it to make it in a green color. So it will be alert success. And we're saying submit, like update successful, update successfully, something like that. So if I reload the page right now, it have an error here. Cannot byte ng if since it is a known property of div. I think I have a typo there. Use ng if is equals to username taken, ng if is to submit success. Maybe that's because I haven't make that into either false or true yet. Ng if here it's just have it should be a big I here. It's capital I. I think that's the reason. Yeah. So right now both of them are not showing, right? There's nothing showing. So here in our update function, when the username is taken, we want to update it into true. So user this username taken is equal to true, and this submit successful should be false. Right. So if we're trying to now change this Alice into Bob and click OK, it will tell me that username is taken. If I change it back to Alice too, it's not working because it's going to else case. Else case we don't put anything here. In else case we should copy this to here and change it to like a reverse. Username taken will be false and the submit successfully will be true. So refresh the page. Let's see. So if we keep this Alice, click OK, update successfully. If I change Alice into Bob, username is taken. Change back to Alice. update successfully. That is 2, update successfully. Okay. So, but we haven't like really called the update function in our data service, in our user service. We need to use that function here to successfully to really update the function, update the data in our array. So we can just simply put it here. It's really short. We already get the user. So here else. Let's create an updated user. Updated user. It's the type of it should be this one should be a user type, and this one should be a user type, and it will equals to a user with ID. Update the user. The ID will be the old ID. We'll never change it, so it will be this user.id. We never changed it. And should we use a comma here? And the username is equal to this username. Remember, we already updated the username into the profile, into the forms value username, right? So this one is already updated. And we will have the password is equals to another equal. Sorry, it should be a comma here, a colon here. This the password is never updated, so it's still equal to this user password. Because we don't really have this username here. Like we never created a field for the password. We just keep the old one. We don't allow the user to change the password here. Maybe we'll allow him to change it like somewhere else in the future. First name. You can feel free to put the password too if you want to allow the user to change the password in this page. This the first name. And last name. This the last name. And I still have an email. It's equal to this email. Now we successfully created the user we want. So if I try to console log it, see if this is a real user we want. Updated user. Console log it. Okay. So if I try to change this Alice2, change the email into alice@gmail.com too. Alice2, Alice2. If I click OK here, I'm getting a new user. This user, the email becomes there's a 2 here, and the first name Alice2, last name Alice2. A password never changed. The username changed, and the ID is still 123. Yeah, this is the new user we want. So we want to run the updated function in our user service to update our old user into this updated user, right? So we have this user right now. Let's just call this user service, the updated user. Right? We already have that function in our service. If we just go back to the service, take a look. Remember, we already have the updated user function. This function takes a user ID and takes a user. So we can just call this function here. I'll give you a user ID. I'm telling him which user I want to update. I want to update this UID. This is ID I want to update, and I want to update it into updated user. Right. So that's successfully updated. And I think that's it for this function. And we can actually console the log to check it. This the user service, the users, right? Users is already inside it. After we submit it, we want to check if it successfully changed in the array. That will be a good way to check it. So save it. The page will be reloaded. Change this to hello. Last name is last. First name is hello. Last name is last. If we click OK here, okay, here is the array. For the Alice, say the first name become hello, last name become last. Right? Other information is still the same. So that means we successfully updated it. This is a function we really want. And if I change the username here. Change the Alice into welcome. If I submit it, if I say me like update successfully. If I log out, trying to log in again. If I use Alice, it will tell me invalid. But if I try to use a welcome here, it will successfully log me in because I already updated the information. Right? That means successfully update. Remember, because we don't have a server and we don't have a database. That means if we refresh a page, all the update will be changed back. Okay, this just everything is happening on our browser, on our client side. The array is still the same. We never changed it. So that's it for the profile. And I want to show one more thing, and then let you have time to working on your pages. So the next thing I want to show is a website list. Like remember, we already have a real website list in our website service client, right? Here we have our websites. That's a real list. I want to display this whole list on our pages. Right now, if we go into our websites, it's showing some fake lists here. It's not something like we manually put it there. We want to remove that and showing our real website list. So here is our website list. In here, we have those manually put list items. We can actually remove them. Just only leave one there. So if I save it, it will become like only one stop here. And we were using one thing we watched like on Friday's video. We're using the ng4 here to show that. But firstly, we need to get in the information there, right? We have those data in our website service, and we want to bring those data into our component. So let's import the website service here. Import website service from let's looking for the website service. Right now we are in the website folder, so we'll do a // and then we will in the website folder, and then we are going to / again, go to a component folder, and then we want to do another / into app folder. And then we can go into from the app folder, we can find the service folder. So we're going to the services folder. And in here we have the website service.client.ts. So website.service client here. Okay, that's how you import the website service. And we also want to import the model. So it will import the model, the website model here. So it will be website from, do the same thing again. It will be // go to the app folder, then we go to the models folder, and then we're looking for the website, the model.client. Oops, website the model client, like that. So after we import both of them, then that means we can use those class in the current component class here. So let's create 2 variables to store those information we need. So I will basically need the array to save it. It will be your websites. You are an array websites, so array of websites will be like that. This is cannot find the name websites. Yeah, it should be website. Array of website. And remember, like when we're trying to find the websites, we are basically getting the user ID and then getting the websites, right? We're getting to, because we're not going to display the whole list of websites. We're only display the website belongs to the current user. Like if I log in as IDs. I want to when I click the website, I want to display all the IDs, the websites of the IDs. If I log in as Bob, I want to display all the websites belongs to the Bob. Actually, right now there's still I forget to change two things. Like in our profile, if I click the website, we want to keep like in the URL, we want to keep the user ID equals to 123. Like this one should be equal to 123 websites. Like then we know this is websites of Alice. So let's change it a little bit in our component profile HTML here. This one here, like we have two buttons here. This one, when I click the router link, it goes to the user UID websites. This is not 100% correctly. We need to change the UID into the real ID there. So just remove the UID here, and what we need is user ID here, right? The current user ID, which is this the UID here, right? This the UID, this variable here. So let's just directly put this UID here. So it will be double bracket and just put the UID here. That just refers to this the UID. Okay. So right now, if I go back to my profile, if I click website, we will see the 123 is still here. It may be so small, but I already record this. So this 123 is still here. And when I click this button here, going back, it should go back to 123. So that means I will need to also store the 123 here, like in the website page. I also want to store this 123 here. So in the website list, I think I will need another variable to store my user ID. Another variable to store my user ID. So I will have a variable to store the user ID, a variable to store the whole list. Okay. So remember, in order to get the user ID in the URL, we will need to use the one of the router function called activity routing. So let's import it here. Import activated route from Angular routing. Angular router. Yeah, it's activity route. This allows us to get the user ID from the URL, right? From the user here. I want to get this user ID here. So in the constructor, we imported the website service and activity routing. So we'll put it here. It will be private website service, and it's a type of website service, and a common and a private activated route. It's a type of activate route. Alright, let me if we put it here, so we can use this use this two field in the whole class. In the ng init, this function will be called after the page is loaded, so I can actually put it here. This the router, the params. Remember how we did it in the profile, so we just do a subscribe here. Not the router, it should be activity router. This the activity router, the params, the subscribe. And we can do another, arrow function here. It will be params. Takes a variable. It takes a parameter called params, and then we'll do a function for the params. Will be this the UID is equal to params the UID, getting the UID part of in the URL. And this the websites, right? We'll create the websites variable here. On the update this too. This will be updated to this website service. Remember, we have a function to find the websites by user, or just use that function, find the websites by user. And here I give a UID, this UID. Remember, this is a function we created in our website service here. Find websites by user. Find all the websites with this developer ID, with this user ID. We'll use this function here to find all the websites belongs to this user. So this is a function we use here to update our websites. Okay, if I try to console log it, console.log this websites, see if that's really showing me the correct websites. F12, array of 3. So I have the ID 890, 567, and 678, and with the developer ID equal to 1, 2, 3. And go tic-tac-toe and checkers. Let's see if these 3 are the ones I want. So in my website service, yeah, when user ID equal to 1, 2, 3, those are 3 I want. Go tic-tac-toe and checkers. Yeah, those are the websites with the ID equal to with the developer ID equal to 1, 2, 3. So I successfully got those websites in my component right now. They're successfully loaded. We can do the next step. I can bring them to my HTML page. And the first thing I need to update is this left button. Like when I click this button, I want to keep the 1, 2, 3 here, not just the user ID. So this is my left button here. Previously, it's using a colon UID here. Just changes to UID. Now remember this the UID. We already updated it in my ng init, right? So if I try to click back again, it's still 1, 2, 3, right? I can go forward and backward right now. Right, still add this. Okay, and back to the list. Right now the list item is showing the fake data. It's always showing address book app. It's never changed. Like no matter which person I logged in, it will always show the address book app. That's not what we want. We want to make it dynamically loading the one we want here. So let me add a comment here. This is a website list. We still want a container, and here we have a URL here, and we have in the URL we have a list item. We actually not only want one list item, we want to have as many list items as we have in our list. So here we're using the one we watched on Friday called ng4. Right? ng4 we can say let website of websites. Remember, this websites refers to the websites here. Both of them are just list of websites. When you're using ng4, when you say let the website of websites, that means let all the websites in this websites. Everything will be called a website here. You can name this anything, like let item of websites, or let website of websites. Just websites. Just the key name here is this websites. Websites just refers to the websites in your component TS. Okay, so that means in this this li will be repeated. Like no matter how many items you have in the list. If you have 3 items, you repeat it 3 times. If you have 2 items, you repeat it 2 times. And we want to actually update the information here. This one shouldn't be UID. This one should be this bracket UID, right? And this WID is basically remember this is a link, right? This is this link here. When I click this one, Let's suppose go to the website edit. This should go to the page list. Page list here. This should be the website ID. How do we get the website ID? Well, in every website, remember if we go to the website service here, in every website we have an ID here. We can just call this ID to get the website ID. So we need to update this WID here into website ID. Right? This website it refers to this website here. This website of websites. If you change this into item, it should be item.id. Right? Just they should be stay the same. Okay? Website ID and page. And here, address book app is what will be displayed. Here I want to display website.name. And this thing here refers to the cog button there. So for this one, when you change, it still will be a cog button, but we want to change the router link. This one should be UID, and this one will be website.id. I think that's it. Just go back, save it, and come back. It seems like there is an error. F12. Let's see. ng4 off. Not bad, since it is either the known property of AI. I think I have typos here. ng4. I think it should be ng capital F. Try that. Yep. So I'm getting those three items here. Go, tic-tac-toe, and checkers. Let's try logging with another username. Come back. Log out here. Log in with what users I have. I still have website service client service. Oh, sorry, should go to user. I have CU here, so username CU, password CU. Let's try that. CU login, and check websites. I'm getting the Facebook, Twitter, and this one. Right, those are the websites of the CU. And if I change this one, right here we have a user ID. We change this to back to Alice 123. I'm seeing all the websites of Alice. Like if it changes to 234, should be all the websites for Bob. Have a chest here, right? You come back, go to Bob's profile. Just everything is managed by the URL here. You see the page is still never loaded. Like you can never see there's a loaded here. You can just directly update everything. Right, everything is still working. Oops, the come back button doesn't work in the page because we haven't updated it into to the correct user. So if I click here, let's just change this back to the UID here. This is not what we expect. We want to change this back to 234 when we come back. Okay, so that's it for the website list. We don't have to do anything else yet. So if I go back to, actually still need to do something. Alice login again. Go to the website. Remember, we need to update those buttons here. We updated this button, right? It's going to the correct user ID and WID, but we haven't changed this button and this button into the correct user and the correct website new. You click this. It's showing me empty here. It's nothing showing. Like let's change it back to UID. So in my website list, here is the router link user, and change this UID into a bracket UID, double bracket UID, and for the plus button there, change this UID into double bracket UID. Okay, if I try it right now, click this, back to the Alice. And if I just go to websites, click that one, it's still going to a wrong website. UID, no, I think Oh, this I just updated this button here. I need to update that one here. This UID should be bracket UID. Okay, if I just go back, click this again, yeah, it's the correct one. You click this button here, let's just refresh your page, not changing anything. Yeah, that's it for the websites. And I'll stop right here, and then you can working on your profile and the website list, and you can also working on the page new and page actually website editor and website new. They are the same thing. Like you can just using ng on init to initialize some data for the website edit. Come back, yeah. Like when I click this one, it should be display the correct current data here, right? The correct current name and current description instead of like those fake data here. And when we click the engineer, click this button here, it will give me like here the left part should display the correct list. Right now it's just a fake list, right? It's just always displayed address book and blogger. It should be display the same thing as we have here. Go, tic-tac-toe, and checker. And also those buttons you need to be updated. Okay, I stop right here and upload the video to the GitHub, to the YouTube, and also I'll upload my code to GitHub. So let me upload the code first. Let me stop this, close that, submit this to the GitHub. So it will be git add dot git commit m connect components with data service. Git push. Okay, it's all pushed. And let me stop the video recording.